action. Good afternoon.
I
think we're live.
I'm not ready yet.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Is this thing on? Let me see what's going on. Sorry we're late, my friends. Oh my goodness, we're not in Costa Rica anymore, Toto.
That's right.
And we're definitely not in the kitchen. We're definitely not in Jerry's casita. We're definitely not in Costa Rica anymore. Where are we?
We are in the North Pole. No, we're in Canada, Toronto, at Elemental Wellness.
Yes.
And yeah, these amazing beings just synchronistically reached out and said, "We're gonna be in Toronto. What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I know what I'm doing now. You guys are coming to hang out." And they're like, "Oh, we gotta go live." And it's perfect.
Excellent.
So yeah, I'm excited to intro this edition of. Is it I Got My Miracle?
I Got My Miracle.
Okay.
So if you haven't figured out yet, I'm not Jerry. And I'm not Candice.
Not Jerry or Candice.
But it's Meg here filling in for Jerry. Rythmia, I think I mentioned last weekend that Rythmia has been closed this week. We had a little bit of a early winter break. So I'm here in Toronto on holiday covering in for Jerry so he could have a day to do his thing. And typically, because this is the About Your Miracle, we're doing a miracle follow-up. So in a moment, I'll be introducing my next guest, but I wanted to just say hello to Giovanni here because he's welcomed us into his space, Elemental here in Toronto, which is a holistic health center that does a lot of amazing, amazing things right in alignment with what we do at Rythmia. Giovanni's been to Rythmia 4 times doing retreats.
That's right. I'll be back in July and November. And a lot of people from the Toronto area that have been to Rythmia end up finding their way here, usually because Jerry or yourself or someone else says, "You gotta go connect." And it's amazing just to see them. It's like I was there when they were there that week. Yeah. It's like you just have this knowing, we sat in ceremony together. It's like that same sort of feeling. So I feel like whenever anyone has gone to Rythmia, it's almost like there's like this knowing, like once you see them, it's like you know that feeling of the magic of Rythmia. So
connected family.
You guys know what I'm talking about. That's why you're listening and watching it.
Exactly. And we're going to tell a bit of a story about how the details as to why we are at Elemental here today to do this interview when I invite on our next guest here. But real quickly, Giovanni, here at Elemental you do everything.
Float therapy, infrared sauna, colon hydrotherapy. We have breathwork classes, we do meditation classes. We're just creating a community. We do talks. It's basically a place where people who feel this, I guess, awakening within them that are looking for other people to connect with, not necessarily like-minded, but open-minded people. We've created a space for that. It's the most amazing conversations. Like you come out of a float and people are just like floating still. Really heart-centered beings. And it's amazing just to see all these amazing people coming in. And I feel it. You feel it?
Yeah, I can feel it. I feel it.
So you're all welcome, whether you're just rolling through Toronto or you live here or in the area. Please come give us a visit or just say hello. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Or join us down in Costa Rica next year.
In July. I'll be there, or anytime really. Costa Rica is amazing. So yeah, without further ado, I will stop rambling and allow you guys to do your show.
Thank you.
Hopefully when you guys are done, you guys will come for an ice bath and a float.
Yeah, totally. Cool. I know that we're scheduled in for floats, so super excited about that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Chantal.
Drum roll, please. Thank you, Giovanni.
Okay.
All right. So,
now it's all getting hot.
Part two. Okay, let me call this up real quick. I want to make sure that everything is good. Okay, great. So we got a few people watching here I'll say hello to in a second, but first we're going to introduce the lovely Chantal.
Hi.
And Chantal is obviously from Ontario, Canada here, and was a guest at Rythmia in August, this past August during Majesty Week, which if you're not familiar with what that was, it was an all-women's retreat of, discovering the spiritual goddess within, essentially. I can't remember what we actually had named for that week, but it was all women. All the guests that week were female, and it was just beautiful. Wow, beautiful and a powerful week.
It was.
And Chantal and I had connected a lot during that week, and we stayed in touch over all of the different social media. And so when I knew that I was going to be filling in for the live today, I said, okay. I put out a little call on my personal Facebook, just saying, hey, any Rythmia alumni around this week and want to connect? I need some help with something. And Chantal jumped right on and was like, please, me. So here we are, and here we are at Elemental, as I mentioned, and I said earlier that Giovanni and I've been meaning to come up and check the place out, and even before I had even thought to come up to this wellness center this weekend, Chantal had taken it upon herself to connect with Giovanni because they had met
a year ago. But it wasn't even to meet with Giovanni. It was at a different retreat center that was at his place. What did they say it was called?
Illuminous?
Yes, Luminous.
His retreat, a different retreat center here in Canada.
Yes, and he walked in and I was like, I just need to come and give you a hug. So I went up and I gave him a hug, and that's how I met him. And just recently I felt the need to connect with him. So we were supposed to meet last week. Then when you and I said we were going to meet, I said to Giovanni, well, why don't we meet on Saturday because I'm going to be in Toronto. He asked what I was doing. I kind of explained. We didn't know where we were going to connect. He said, well, just come here. So here we are at Elemental.
Yeah.
It was just beautiful how it all happened.
Absolutely perfect. And Giovanni's wife was just here earlier this afternoon too, Stephanie. If you're at Rythmia in any of the weeks that Giovanni has been there, she's been there with us, an absolute beautiful soul as well.
Yes.
So just like evidence of like the connectiveness,
Magic.
the synchronicity, this web that we're all a part of, you know, before, during, and after being at Rythmia is such an incredible, incredible thing.
It really is.
So let's have a quick look, see who's watching here. Alex is saying hello. Sharon Bird is saying hello. Kenneth is watching. Hey, Kenneth. Jacques is watching. Asan, these are a lot of my Sunday afternoon regulars seem to be here. Mandy's watching. Jeff Clark is watching. Marina McKenzie saying, where's Jerry? Jerry's having a much needed day off. Rythmia was closed this week. I think he might still be up in Malibu dealing with some business stuff. So I'm filling in. I hope that's not too disappointing, Marina. And I will still be doing my regular live, same time, same channel tomorrow. But this is our About Your Miracle. So About Your Miracle, where are they now? Where are they now? So Chantel, let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
We have, of course, we're going to talk about Chantel's experience at Rythmia and how life has been unfolding for her since then. But let's just rewind to what drew you originally to make that call to book in to see us at Rythmia.
It was the video.
Which
saw the for Majesty Week.
Okay.
Majesty Week.
Oh,
It showed up. I don't even remember where I saw it, but it showed up and I got goosebumps and I just knew I needed to be there. I just knew. I didn't know how I was going to make it happen. I just knew I needed to be there.
And what was going on with your life at that time?
I had just turned 40 and trying to decide what to do with my life. I've kind of been in hiding as to who I am and the gifts that we all have, the gifts that have really come up within me. And it was okay. I need to. I think it was awaken your inner goddess.
That's
I believe that was the saying, and it was goosebumps from head to toe, and I just knew I had to be there.
And you weren't sure how you were going to make it happen,
No, I had no idea how I was going to make it happen.
but everything fell into place, money included, for that.
Yeah, it absolutely did. It was like it was just here you go.
Amazing. So,
And I was scared. I got on the plane. I had never been anywhere by myself in my entire life. And I got on the plane and I was scared. I almost was, oh, how am I going to do this? And it was one thing after another just fell into place. It was beautiful. Even when I got to the airport and somebody from Rythmia was waiting there with the sign and the friendliness and the openness and here, let me take your bag. And it was magical. It was absolutely beautiful. So good job, Jerry. Even though you're not here, you're here with us.
Exactly. So you joined us. You're at Rythmia for the week, the Majesty Week, super powerful week.
Yeah.
What
On numerous levels.
all the amazing things that Jerry has put together to that compile the About Your Miracle program. You had the deepest of deep experience during the plant medicine.
I absolutely did. Yeah, I had no idea what plant medicine even was.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
Yeah.
She had not done her
None.
research.
No, actually, what happened was people that knew that I was coming to Rythmia and I was going to be doing ayahuasca, there was all these, oh, are you sure you want to do that? And I heard this person had this experience and that experience. And I was like, that's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. I trusted. And honest to goodness, from the minute you walk into the gate at Rythmia, it's like see, look, I have goosebumps because it is beautiful and protected, and there is no words to describe how I felt when even on the bus there. It is a family that you go into knowing that we're all in this together and sharing stories and experiences and the realness of the truth of who we are. Yeah. That's what I was scared of. Is coming out and saying, hey, this is who I am. I'm not afraid anymore.
Well, and that's the bigger thing that people are actually scared of. A lot of people say, well, when they hear about ayahuasca, and especially like a lot of places you go to the Amazon, you go into the jungle, you do it in
Like Jerry's story.
Yeah, like in a less than comfortable circumstance. So you hear a lot of people, oh, you sure you want to do that? When it's that type of circumstance. But Jerry has purposely made this safe, comfortable location so that the only thing you might be afraid of is facing yourself. But at the end of the day, if you've gotten so far as to get on a plane and go to a place like Rythmia, you're really not that afraid of it. You're there to see that because you know you need to.
And it's conquering that fear.
Yeah.
The last ceremony that I was in, I was petrified to go. And I went up to, what was his name?
Amitra.
And I just explained, I am so scared. I don't know that I can do this. And he said, good for you for coming. And that was another huge lesson for me. When you can move past and move through that fear, just on the other side is the greatest light bulb, for lack of a better term, or sunshine as I look at that picture. It changes your life, because on the other side, fear is the only thing holding you back. And all of that is your own self.
Yeah.
You are your greatest, what's the word I'm looking for? You are the only person holding you back.
You're your greatest alchemist.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing I learned being at Rythmia.
Yeah. And you had the first night. For someone who's going into this type of program with not really much research done on the plant medicine and what to expect, your first night you had a bit of an experience. You had
it was incredible.
Quite a bit happen and things that you saw and
I had no idea what was normal or not normal, and I was sharing my experience the next day, and people who have had ceremony upon ceremony were looking at me going, Chantal, you experienced all that? And I was like, well, yeah, is that not normal?
And if you don't mind sharing, what were some of the things that you saw?
So, the biggest thing for me was I just remember, excuse my language, but I had to pee so bad, and I couldn't move, but it was okay. It wasn't like I was uncomfortable. I was just laying there and absorbing all the colors and the lights and the DNA strands. All this stuff is just flying around in me, and I'm thinking, well, this is kind of neat. And I'm laying there, and I had this little tiny alien come up and stand on my chest and look at me and say, Chantal, can we do some surgery on you? And I was like, okay, sure. So then another alien with this big head comes in, and he goes, okay, we're going to do some surgery on your jaw. And I remember Jerry saying that sometimes you'll get psychic surgery because in our memories as we grow, our molars hold a lot of that past memory. Yeah. So what I was told by these aliens, for lack of a better, because they're not aliens, because they're beautiful in their own sense, is that they were removing all of those past negative beliefs and all those things that no longer served me. And I could feel my jaw going to this side, I could feel it going to this side, and it was kind of uncomfortable, but not at the same time. It was magical and beautiful.
Pretty intense and big for the first night.
It was, yeah. But I didn't know any different, and I wasn't scared.
And you're open to it. You're open to it.
So the other amazing thing that I have to share with everybody is it wasn't as though I was in this state where I couldn't open my eyes. My body physically couldn't move, but it was comfortable not moving. And I could open my eyes and I could see the ceiling of the Maloka. And all the shaman, it was the women shaman that night. Mm-hmm. And I felt completely safe. So it wasn't as though I couldn't come out of it. I could come out, and then I would close my eyes, and there was a vast array of stars and beautifulness and all these little tiny aliens and big aliens around me. And I was just in my, okay, is this really happening? Is this real? That's what I kept asking myself. Is this real? And then, this is interesting to share, but Jesus actually came to me and said, Chantal, all of this is real. Mm. And this is...
Including me.
Right? And that's why I'm like, this is the second time that he's actually come to me in my life. And we all have those doubts, right? Because living in this human body, we go through, society tells us this is real, this is not real, this is real, this is not real. And I think we go through moments in our life where we're being challenged, and we're being challenged because we need to grow. So that growth, sometimes you have to break past all of that fear and all those doubts, and seeing him and the messages that he sends, and Chantal, you really need to come out and you need to be here because, you know, that story about the fish.
Yeah.
You give a man a fish, he feeds for an hour. You teach a man to fish, he feeds for a week. You teach a man to fish, and you can feed a whole village. And that's what Jerry has started here. Everybody coming together out of, I live in Simcoe. Simcoe is a small town. For anybody who doesn't know where Simcoe is in Ontario, it's small. And I've been in hiding.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be in hiding anymore.
And this is what we talked about, is the biggest transformation. When I said to Chantal, what if we're talking, where are they now? What's the biggest lesson that you took away from that week? And it was to get out of hiding, right?
Yes. And be here.
Yeah. And I have to say, when I walked into the studio today and you came around the corner,
as I heard her voice,
she was there. Like, she was not hiding behind any sort of robe or veil or anything. You were here. You were there. Your presence. I mean, you have a beautiful presence, and you, even when I met you at Rythmia, you were always just there. Such a glowing, positive being. But I could feel already. You're like, I am here now.
Yeah.
You know, in a very more, in just a more confident, real way. Authentically, yeah.
And it hasn't been easy the last couple months. Like August, how many months is that? August, September, October, November, December. 4 months, really. I've had my ups and downs. Everybody has their ups and downs. The difference is now when I go through a moment of, it's just down and doubtment. I'm going to learn me some English.
We can make up our own words. I do it all the time.
I now find the lesson in it. There's always a lesson. Like even this whole nasal and congestion thing that I'm going through, it's beautiful in its own sense. You know, we get sick, but there's a reason. Our body communicates to us in so many different ways. And one of the benefits that I have in working with my clients is I can, if there's an ailment that's in you, I can help find the underlying reason, which is what Rythmia and plant medicine did as well. When you can find the underlying reason to what is ailing you, and you face it, and you face that fear, and you say, okay, I'm going to love you, and I'm going to love you until it's gone. Yeah. That's what the change is. 100%. So when I go through those down moments now, I'm like, okay, what is this teaching me? How is this going to, what do I need to learn from this? Yeah. So even being under the weather and my brain not functioning as fast and coming up with new words, even in that itself, that I'm here right now going through this.
Nasal thing for a second there. What is that all about? Weird. I'm taking on.
Releasing. We're just working together, Meg.
Yeah,
it's just part of the whole
just
thing.
playing off each other. Sorry for interrupting with that.
No, it was no interruption. It was beautiful in its own sense, right? That's what it's about. When you're in your spiritual, and Rythmia, that's what you find. You find your family. You find the people that have been in hiding, like myself, that want to come out and don't know how to do it. And I still don't know how to do it. I don't know how to tell people this is who I am and this is what I do.
We're walking with Bambi legs a little bit still, right?
Exactly. Well, I contacted Giovanni and said, I don't know why I'm contacting you. Yeah. I'm following what these guys are telling me.
Yeah. And look what it's done. You know, right? And this is that's the biggest thing, is the trust component, the trust in the faith. And I just want to mention one quick thing. Like last week we had Graham Hancock at Rythmia, who is a legend, such an amazing soul. And his very first talk that he did on the Monday, the theme was, we are all outsiders. And the idea that, you know, he grew up very much an outsider in many ways. And he also pointed out, like, everyone in that room of 85 guests probably at some point have considered themselves outsiders. Yeah, but in that environment, we were all outsiders together. And it's a huge part of, you know, a lot of the people that do choose to come to Rythmia have a little bit of a notion that something about them is different. Yeah. And they have maybe made themselves a bit of an outsider because they haven't been authentically ready to reveal that part of them, you know?
That was my biggest thing.
Yeah, and being an outsider is really what makes us beautiful, when we can and own that and trust it and have the faith that being authentically ourselves is what's going to make everything unfold in a really, you know, beautiful
way.
in like
Yes.
with integrity,
Yeah.
you know, type of way, and put you on that right trajectory, that true and right trajectory.
The biggest challenge for me this was in my last ceremony, the all-night ceremony. That was interesting in its own way. So at the age of 6, I actually shut off my gift. I had friends in my room all the time, and I had souls that would come to me that would need to be released. And it was normal for me. It was normal to have, you know, sight and see these souls, and I talked to them and play with them. And I actually had my first encounter with a negative entity, and it had come to my room. And I remember I was 6 years old, sitting on my bed, cross-legged and scared, so scared I couldn't even yell, could not even yell for my mom. When the words finally came out and she came in, my mom didn't know. My mom had no idea who I was. How do you explain at 6-year-old? How do you explain? You just can't. You can't put to words what you do, right? So she, in her ignorance, said, Chantal, there's nothing there.
It's the boogeyman.
You're not that you're crazy, but this is not real. So I remember standing on my bed and, you all need to leave. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to be crazy. I want to be just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. I don't want to feel like an outsider. And it was like they were gone. So 20 years later, at the age of 26, when all of this started coming on, it was like the universe said to me, Chantal, you need to be who you are. And if you're not going to do it, we're going to do it for you.
Yeah.
It was scary.
And it's going to be a lot harder that way.
And it was scary. It was so scary. I remember there being moments where I would walk down the hall and I would see something and I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to turn the light on because I don't want to see that anymore. Now I'm not afraid. Mm-hmm. And that's part of who we all are in this journey, is helping people to face that fear and realize that there's a different way to look at anything.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing is I don't want children to feel alone. I want to reach out to the parents and the children that have no idea what is going on in their life or why their children say that they see these things. There's tools. There's tools to help everybody realize that who you are is beautiful in every sense of the fact. And this type of community, and Jerry, I can't thank you enough. I told you this at Rythmia several times. I don't even know how many times I went up to him and said, Jerry, you're so awesome. I can't believe you've done this. I can't believe you've done this, but and even you, look at you, what you've done, and your story. We're all real, and we all have those moments. But getting through it and sharing stories, I think, is the biggest.
Yeah.
For everybody.
I think being so real and raw and authentic and sharing our own outsidedness is what brings us all together. So we can stop being outsiders. When we can recognize that all of these things that have long considered, been weird or strange or out of the ordinary or necessary to shut down, if we can let ourselves all just be these things, then no one has to be an outsider anymore. We can all be included, and we can all be happier and healthier, and the world's going to be, the world will be a more beautiful place. But it's true. This is what it's all about. And like you mentioned earlier, is the recognizing in life, especially in these weeks and months after, Rythmia, where there's going to be, and Jerry talks about it in Candice in the classes while you're at Rythmia, that there's going to be a little bit of this, ups and downs.
Yes.
And I always, because I go through that, obviously, all the time. With doing the work that I do, I'm constantly doing this type of work. I work at Rythmia, even though I'm there doing the food and doing what I do on a day-to-day basis, constantly triggers and things are coming up for me where I'm riding waves of emotions and spiritual ahas constantly. And I think it was Reverend Michael Beckwith at one point, and I'm probably going to butcher it a little bit, but he talks about the idea that with a slingshot, you got to tighten that elastic and pull back, and it gets uncomfortable and tight and painful, but then, boom, you fly. Then that's how you go far, and that's how you hit the home run and go the extra mile. Yeah. You have to go through that tension, those periods of tension before the release. Yeah. And it's the same. It's like the same idea of 2 steps forward, 2 steps back type thing. It can get, there's a little bit of push-pull, and that's life.
It definitely is.
But so what is it how are you stepping in more fully into who you are and coming out of hiding? What is life like for you right now?
Well, I have my own website. I am strictly just doing energy work with people now.
And that's what you, in your deepest heart's desire, is all you want.
It absolutely is. And it always has been. I had never even had a Reiki treatment before I knew I needed to have my Reiki masters. It's almost these things that come to me. It's like, okay, Chantal, this is what you need to do. Okay.
Become a Reiki master. What's Reiki?
Yeah. I honestly had no idea, and I had to have those attunements in my physical body, but I do so much more because I have always been an intuitive in all of my lifetimes. it came naturally, and how all of this has transpired. I'm now taking a hypnotherapy course, and pardon my brain as it doesn't work. I'm taking courses because I want to be the best version of myself, and I'm in this zone of just wanting to learn and connect and grow, and how all of this is going to happen, I don't know. I am trusting, because that's what we do. When we are in alignment with Source, we trust. And it's beautiful and magical, and I said to Meg when I saw you, I'm like, I'm so giddy. I even said that on the text messages. I'm like, how is this even happening?
So many exclamation points and yays going on in the messages.
What?
Of course, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think when I made the call out of who would be amazing for this, I knew intuitively. Even though we've been in contact, but we haven't had conversations in the last couple of months. Like, I think we've back and forth a little bit about,
Well, you were here in September.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I wanted to come see you, and something happened that we didn't connect.
And it didn't happen, Scheduling didn't work out.
Yeah.
But I just knew, I'm like, well, she's obviously doing really great. Just obviously, I just knew. Like, obviously she's doing really great. This would be a great conversation, to have and to share with our viewers, because it's nice to know people come to Rythmia, they have their miracles. Yeah. Jerry has the statistics of how many people report 6 months later, a year later, that their miracle has stuck. And it's like something like 89%. Like, it's the miracles stick. And I thought it was a really great idea to just have the conversation, and evidence that fact. I mean, I know it to be true for myself, and I talk daily to many, many, many alumni from all over the world through my various social media channels about their life and how it is unfolding, and talking them about all of the exciting things that are happening. But I'm also talking through with guests about some of the downtimes, because I do get guests contacting me saying, I'm feeling like they're back in the slingshot, and just helping them see that there's going to be that trajectory, and then I always do hear back, like, okay, I got through that, and bigger things have exposed themselves to me in a beautiful way.
The biggest thing I need to mention from my own experience is, when you're at Rythmia, you're on such a high, and you are home on so many different levels. When you come back to the everyday or the previous norm, your norm is not norm anymore. Mm-hmm. So you have to go through a transition period, and that's where you have to be the most gentle with yourself. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not, I journaled a lot. And every day I would look back and say, okay, this is how I transformed here, and this is how, okay, I'm doing okay. And having the Facebook groups too was a fantastic idea, because you can reach out to your group that you grew with, and they have their moments, and you can say, okay, I'm not alone. That whole alone thing that most of us feel going through this is, it's not existent anymore. You find your group, and you find your family. I'm going to squirrel a little bit here, because I don't want to forget to say this. Your cooking changed my life there. And I need to give a shout out to you for really following your bliss, and really through your entire story of where you were. And I don't know if everybody knows Meg's story, but it's beautiful and profound. And what you've done and changed your life to help people, I'm getting goosebumps. But food means a whole different thing to me now. Beautiful. And you started all of that. It's magical how I bought your book.
They love Amazon.
And just what it's done is I keep saying that, but really, honest to goodness, Meg, It's,
Well, we're all there.
banana muffins.
Banana muffins.
Everybody who's been to Rythmia knows.
The reason why I wrote the book. I'm working on another book right now, Sauces, Soups, and Sweets. Right now, hopefully by mid-January 2019. But I mean, we are all of us here that are on the Rythmia team there in Costa Rica.
We're with them.
We all bring our own.
We just have snow. We have white sand.
Exactly. We're all together. But everyone that's on the team there, and Jerry has done an amazing job. He's like this beacon of like light and love, calling all of these people in that want to be a part of what he's doing. And we all bring our own story, our own journey, and our own little piece of what's important to us and has been integral in our journey and our healing. And it's an offering, for all of the guests and everyone that comes through Rythmia's door to, to take what they need, and I know the food component is huge for a lot of people, a little bit less of a level of importance for other people. And it really all depends on where you're coming from. Like, I know the percentage of the people that do come that have battled food issues, which most of us have in some capacity. It's a big part of it, and I know the breath work becomes such an integral part for a certain percentage. The yoga, like all of these things, we're all there just offering what we are passionate about because we know it's worth for ourselves, and then to hear that it resonates, it means a lot.
It's everything. That goes back to what I was saying about, you're on such a high because you're putting in high vibrational foods. You're doing the yoga, you're doing the breath work, you're doing all of those components that makes you vibrate at the highest frequency that you can operate at. That it's an adjustment period coming home, as I say. But nothing's, and your ego, that's what I fought with. That ego was, okay, this change is scary. How does this integrate into my everyday life, and how do I do that? That's when I decided I need to be real, and I need to be me, and I need to tell people that I'm here, and that I want to help, and that's great and fantastic and wonderful and all those things.
And that's the thing. The ego is the big thing Jerry always talks about before everyone leaves. Like a lot of people think that we come and we do this to work to abolish the ego, and the ego's gone. But the ego's just been reordered. Like it used to be like the number one decision maker when it came to how we lived our life, but now it's been reordered to maybe third or fourth. Underneath our heart and our spirit. But if a lot of the time the ego, like Jerry says, it's just sitting there waiting. Like, I give this asshole 5 days, and then I'm coming right back into first place. It's it's 100% true. Every time Jerry says that, I laugh, but I'm like, but it's totally true, because it so easily can just hop back into the driver's seat. But it's when you can catch it and be like, get in the back, or you're getting shotgun even. And you
because
can start.
It's afraid of change.
Yeah, it's afraid of change, and it's afraid of actually being given the full boot, which is never going to happen. The ego serves us in so many ways. It keeps us safe. We need to keep our ego, obviously, but we need to keep it in check. And the more we can choose to live our life and follow our path from the heart and from a spiritual sense, the happier we'll be. But it's got to be that fine balance, and that's what it means to come back into our real life and to go home. It's not like feeling like my whole life that I lived before this needs to get thrown out the window. I need to quit my job and leave my husband and start fresh. No, it's a matter of taking everything you've learned and just living that same beautiful life from a very heartfelt space. Yeah. And then naturally any of the stuff that wasn't working will just naturally fall away or remedy itself. And that's the beauty of why we do this medicine, and why it is such a gift to have as we live this human life.
It is. And they talk. I don't know. They all talk. There were so many different beautiful sessions that we had even before we did the ceremonies. But it was, Mother Ayahuasca is so amazing that she works with you for months before you even get there. And when I think about everything leading up to me even going to Rythmia, it's so true. And even afterwards, it's almost as though once you experience that, it never goes away. And you just need to get back and connect into all of that when in those moments of panic. Do the practices that you're taught there. I have a whole book that's an entire journal, and in those moments I go back and I say, okay, show me what I need to see. And all of the teachers and practitioners and everybody that Jerry brought in that day, it's At Brandy. Brandy had a lot of this, and hi Brandy, I have to say, you know, I love you. she's so beautiful in her own way, but I don't want her to lose this whole thing because she did amazing getting everything together. It's all of that. It's everything. I lost my train of thought.
It's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so what's next for Chantel? Are you just letting it flow?
I am letting it flow. Perfect. And I'm trusting. And the people that need to find me will find me. And you know, I don't know, am I allowed to say my website on here?
Yeah. Sure.
Why not, right? It's chantellouiseweiler.com is my website, and I'm also on Facebook. I don't know if, you know, I can put it on there because my name does smell differently, but it's all good. I don't know where all this starts. I'm in the trusting mode.
Yeah. And feeling good and
feeling amazing about it all.
And amazing. And you look amazing.
Thanks.
And you sparkle.
I feel amazing.
And I'm so happy that we met back in August and that we've connected and stayed connected, and we'll continue to stay connected because I can't wait to see how things unfold for you in the days and the weeks and months to come.
I know, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I think that we'll wrap that up there. We have gone 36 minutes. Got a couple of people here. Bridie Lee is watching. She was there with Her Majesty.
Yes.
We have some viewers from New York. We've got people watching from Finland, Portugal, you name it. We've got people watching all over. Mike saying hello. Janice saying hello. We've got someone telling us that, wow, you guys are really connecting on a deep level. Admini saying, I'm like, yeah, we are. Vancouver, BC represent. Super, super cool. Wyoming. Oh, so good. So, my friends,
amazing.
I think we'll wrap it up there. And wish everyone a beautiful weekend. If you have any questions about Rythmia, obviously head to the website. Give a call. 188 the 1866 number is all over the Facebook page and the website. Give the good folks in Malibu a call if you have any questions.
Yes.
I will be back live here 2 p.m. Costa Rica time, 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, doing a little food related Facebook Live heading into the holidays. And then Dr. Jeff will have his live on Monday, and then next Saturday again you can tune in for Jerry's About Your Miracle, because we're back on site in Costa Rica next weekend. So, without further ado, I want to say thank you to this beautiful, beautiful soul. Love you so much.
Love you so much.
And we're gonna end this, and we're gonna go have ourselves some floats.
Yes, we are.
So have yourself a beautiful weekend. Love you. Mwah. Ciao.
Bye.